Okay, it's Atlanta's #1 hip-hop station, Hot 107.9 and home for the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. Of course, you know it's your folk, B-High. Radio shout is stepping in the building. I got a new artist that's tearing up the streets as we speak. Londynn B, what's good with it, sis?
What's going on? How you feeling, Big B?
Oh, man, feeling good, feeling great. But, I mean, not as good as you, though, Londynn, because, I mean, I done had a chance to watch your highlight reel.
What?
And you get up there on that stage and you tear that thing down, though, Londynn. I ain't mad at that at all, man. Can you talk to me about that experience on Rhythm and Flow doing your thing in there?
Man, Rhythm and Flow. First off, I want to thank you, okay, for highlighting that I can tear down, okay?
No, you was there for it. Yeah.
No, but I really want to say Rhythm and Flow was definitely a great experience. It was a learning process. It was a big opportunity, and I jumped on it ASAP. So it was so many challenges. It was so enlightening just to be able to go through that as an artist, as a musician, and being in front of Cardi, Chance, and T.I., and them already being as big as they are. Exactly. The influence was amazing. Like, their feedback, their critiques were amazing, and it really develops you. So it's kind of like a little artist development we kind of went through with that.
I mean, talk to me about being in front of that large audience, and then you got 3 icons sitting in front of you watching you do your thing, and the spotlight's on you, and it's time for you to shine. Talk to me about being able to perform up under that kind of pressure, though.
Oh, man, you almost don't see it.
Yeah.
Like, you just can't even see it. Because if you see it, you really going to shake it down.
Exactly.
Like,
I feel that.
Like, for real. Like, it almost goes into a blur. You get out there, and it's just such a big moment. And you just want to connect to the people as much as they're there. You want to connect to the judges as much as they're there. So you do leave a lot on stage. It's kind of like performing times 10 with a whole bunch of, like, extreme hyper pills on top of a whole bunch of like exhausting like moments, because again, like, you're in front of people, you don't want them to think you whack. Exactly. Then on top of that, you don't want the judges to tell them to think you whack. Then you don't want the judges to think you whack. Okay, you don't even want the producers to think you whack.
Exactly.
So it went out like that, but
now,
it was organic.
How long had you been down with the music though, Londynn?
I've been doing music professionally for 3 years.
Talk to me about that. Then I mean, talk to me about that grind, and then being able to get to a platform to where you can really express yourself and let people know what you are about and what you were bringing to the game.
Man, that grind for the first year was free.
Ooh.
It was free. Every weekend I went out to any nightclub you can think about, and I was just asking for the mic. I was asking it. Like, I didn't ask them to play my song. I was just like, let me just get the mic. And they're like, well, what you going to do with it? I'm like, well, I got something special for you. I was sending my song just like that, but I would just go and perform in front of anybody, cafes, again, regular little music spots, bar, lounges, things like that. I wasn't picky about it. Exactly. Wasn't picky at all. I wasn't afraid either. I just wanted it so bad. I was determined. So that first year straight, I did everything free. I ain't asked for nothing. I just wanted to show up and do what I do. And I think that's the part of the grind that people kind of like don't talk about.
Of course.
And they kind of leave that part behind.
Exactly.
Like, you went from rags to riches over what, girl?
Exactly.
Like, they forgot the rag, Like, no, it's dirty when it first started. Like, nobody notices you. Nobody wants you in their club. And half of the time, they don't want you on the mic. So you really got to just kind of, like, come to them in a different way. And plus, again, I always felt like your appearance needed to be a certain way as well. Like, don't be asking for things that you can't, actually afford to ask for. So I made sure I was in perfect timing with everything. But that first year and a half was grind time. I lost everything. Talk to me
about the humility that you had at that time, though, because like you said, being able to start from them rags and make it do what it's supposed to do. I know a lot of folks that ain't got now single, ain't got now hit, ain't got now performance up under their belt, but they want to go straight to the top and they don't want to do no kind of pit stops along the way. So what was it that let you know that say, hey, man, I need to go ahead and sharpen this sword before I get out here and hit the big stages?
Honesty, you got to be truthful with yourself. And then, to be honest with you, I had a lot of genuine people around me. I will say that. Now, nobody could put $1 into it, but they could put input into it, okay? So even if you can't get $1 from the input, take the input, okay? Because it's still worth something towards the road. So when my music wasn't hitting, they let me play it, and they probably be like, well, might not be this record. And I would get aggravated. I'd be like, well, shoot, well, like, I think this record is cool, but they're like, nah, but this just, it ain't it. So I had to go back to the board a lot. It was like writing on paper, balling it up, throwing it away, doing it all over again. So you really just can't get tired. You can't quit. But most importantly, it was just having people around you that's really going to tell you for the betterment of you versus you really run around here thinking that, it's all what you can present, because a lot of times it's the listeners that really tell you you got it.
Big old facts. Now, 3 years ago, women were not dominating this hip-hop game, but now 3 years have passed and it's y'all's time out here. So how do you feel like your timing for everything has kind of just impacted this launch and this trajectory that you about to go on already.
Well, CB, you already said 3 years ago it wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So I can say it was divine timing if you ask me.
I'm with that. I'm with that.
No, but like I really would say like this year has been the most inspiring year of all because again, 3 years ago it wasn't really as fun. It wasn't really cool.
Yeah.
So, shout out to the women that have paved the way and made those things happen. From the Little Kims to the Nickis, to the Cardis. I mean, even to the Beyoncés. I mean, you got a lot of women that have been in charge for a very long time before this. So it's just beautiful to see it happen. And me be a part of it is even better because I worked my ass off. I worked very hard. Just as well as they did,
Yeah.
So it worked out. I think I showed up right on time.
Talk to me about coming out of the city of Atlanta with it, though, man. Where you from now, London, so I can make sure I'm right with
No,
this?
now I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay. Now, how long you been in the city?
I've been in the city for 3 years.
Okay,
So it was
okay.
all divine.
Talk to me about coming out of Brooklyn and then making your way down to the A. What was that like?
Listen, it was fun because I have this exciting,
Yeah.
I'm exciting. The reality is the transition wasn't that hard. It was just
Okay.
like meet some people,
Yeah.
party a little bit, see what it's about, find myself in the different nightclubs, okay?
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
Atlanta is like showcase city.
That's true.
Like, come
That's
on
true.
now. Like, it's not hard to just stumble outside your front door and find a showcase. Like, like, for real, they performing everywhere. I went outside and he had a boombox performing on the corner.
Oh, my God.
Selling his CD. Like,
Those are facts, though.
that's what I'm telling you. You can get a record deal at Greyhound. Like,
Yeah.
it just can happen like that.
You ain't lying. Now, London, growing up in Brooklyn, though, man. I mean,
Man.
that big city, New York. What was that like for you up there doing your thing?
Man, Brooklyn, New York was crazy because
Yeah.
I didn't really start doing music in New York.
Okay.
I did poetry in New York.
What?
So a lot of times I would write poetry and do things like that, but I still didn't go to open mics. I still didn't do it. I didn't take it as serious. So again, really me coming here was the start because of the showcases. I really did see like people grab the mic and they just doing their thing. And I'm just like, oh,
Yeah.
well, shoot, I want to try that too. I want to
That's
see how
right.
that work out for me. So when I started to do it, like again, it was a process. People don't gravitate to anybody right away. It don't matter who you are and where you from. But what I will say though is they definitely had a welcoming energy. I guess that's Southern hospitality. Like they had a welcoming energy, and I've appreciated it for a very long
Now,
time.
I had a chance to check out one of your videos, that beat mix to that posse. My boy, Euro got it.
Oh,
you got on
yes.
that thing and snap.
Okay.
Talk to me about just your flavor and your creative process when you get in that studio and cranking stuff up.
Man, my creative process is always just to go from in and speak out.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I always had this process where I kick everything out the studio. I write by myself.
Okay.
I kick everybody out the studio, and I always want to meditate before I go into it. So whatever I'm saying, I can add up to it.
That's right.
I don't want to say something that you can question me about in the street, and I don't know nothing about it. I don't want to give you no fairy tales. So anything that you hear about my music is raw. It's unapologetic. It's authentic. It's straight to the point. It's uncut. Hell, some people might say it's too loud, but either way, it get the point across. And it's just one of those things in this moment where while we are at this high and women are at this high, let's capitalize off of all the stories we can tell in those 3 years we haven't been. So why not? Like, let's talk about from here to here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's easy to talk about the riches. It's hard to talk about the rags. So I like to really talk about the rags and give you that moment so you can appreciate the riches when I do get there so you can understand what it took. Because I think we missed that part, and it grows a lack of appreciation for fans and people and family, anybody and their friends. They kind of like look down on it going through the process versus actually hearing exactly what it took to get there. So people can really see that this is not easy. It's definitely not easy.
Talk to me about being a mama at the same time and raising baby girl and letting her see mama achieve these goals and dreams though too. Because that's got to feel good when you can look out there and see baby girl like, go ahead and get it, mom.
Okay,
Come on.
it's amazing. Like
Yeah.
it's amazing because I mean, if I wasn't doing it for her, I wouldn't be here. So I feel like it just took a certain amount of strength to not give up. And it still takes that same amount of strength to not give up. It takes a lot of strength not to curse people out half of the time. Okay, B?
Exactly.
How? It takes a lot of strength. Okay, I got to bring it in. Okay,
on,
because I
been
got to
there.
be home to take my baby. I got to,
Facts.
because I take my daughter to school every morning. Then afternoon she get off. I help her with her homework. Like I'm a full-time mom.
Exactly.
We cook. We do all that. So she's not growing up in a foundation where she has to miss me. So I have to make sure I'm moving around that time. She don't move around my time. I move around hers. So we make sure we try to get as much of that time in.
What is it like though, having to juggle this career and motherhood at the same time though too?
It's Not easy. I'm gonna be honest. Like I'd be lying if I said it was easy. Like it's that part ain't sweet. It ain't easy. Okay, I be trying to record, her TV too loud. Like it be simple things like that. I can't even record, but I love my baby. Like I think what makes it's not easy, but it makes it worth it. Let me put it like that. So the different struggles are just more so, again, creating that time to be there for her and to be able to really just separate everything else from the time I have to spend with my daughter. Because again, you're in an opinionated sport as an artist. So sometimes you go home trying to figure out, do their opinions affect your children? Things like that. You know what I'm saying? Growing up, just being that way and watching what people say about your parents on the internet and things like that. So it's really just a matter of training her mind to get used to certain things. But other than that, she loves the attention. Her friends know who she is. She's popular.
Most popular.
She bringing gifts home. I don't know where they come from. I don't know what life she living, but it's a good life, and I appreciate having her just to be able to experience this moment.
Besides motherhood, what are some of the other obstacles that you might have found along the way that caused you to sit back and maybe rethink everything that you were trying to do at the time?
Opinions. I ain't gonna lie, I was doing music where it was just more so me.
Yeah.
So you don't really have to worry about like what people say, how people think, how people feel, if you stepping on their toes or not. Do you have to be this way? Do you have to be that way? You know what I'm saying? Like, like it make you feel like, you know what I'm saying? Like it just makes you feel like, dang, like it was the feedback. I wouldn't even say opinions, but it was feedback that I wasn't expecting. And I'm just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like you come from a place where you think everybody love you when ain't nobody looking.
Exactly.
Like everybody loves you when ain't nobody looking, and then all of a sudden you wake up people looking, and all of a sudden, and you still do have people who genuinely love you, of course. But it's just that attention that is now on you on your day to day. Like I go out to eat. And my fish get cold because they want pictures. So it's just like I can't even go to the supermarket.
Yeah.
My toe can't be cracked. I can't be doing nothing.
Now.
Okay.
Exactly.
Like I be trying to. I put on a hat and a hoodie and they still find me. So I'm assuming they love me and I love them too. So we just gonna have to rock out. I'm gonna get used to it one day, but.
Talk to me about having to get used to that fame, though, because I mean, the fame comes a lot earlier than the money comes a lot of time in this game. So you look up and you get real famous and. The people.
Come on, B.
You feel me?
See, they didn't put it like that. They didn't tell me that, B. They told me I was going to get famous and rich.
Yeah, exactly. And they say rich and famous not meaning famous first, then rich.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
They didn't say they were going to notice you still going through it.
Come
they
on.
Said,
So what is that like, having to deal with the fame and the struggle at the same time and having to deal with those two different realities at the same time?
Okay. I ain't gonna lie. Like I'm putting it in the music. I got to grind through it because you really can't. One thing about women, and it's not to make it a sexist thing. Yeah. But we can't complain.
That's right.
We already deemed as over emotional. We can't cry about anything.
Yeah.
We still in that corner of not being allowed to have feelings as well.
That's true.
As everybody else too, I think people exclude that because they do play women crying on TV and things like that. But a lot of times we're subjected to hide just as much feelings as everybody else. So we can't really even go on the rent we want to go on, which means a lot of times we cry behind doors and put it in the music.
That's right.
So it creates a different outlet. Just I'm sure like other people do as well, because music is still an outlet for everybody.
That's right.
But when you are going through things like that, like for us, it's just a higher calling for us not to say much of anything because the door is almost open and it's almost closed too.
That's right.
So we still, you know what I'm saying? Like we still have to be very cautious and touchy about what we do, how we do it, things like that. So yeah, that's it.
What are the things that you loving though now?
I do love the fact that I get everything for free.
Ooh,
everything is free.
On now.
Now, if I am going to be where I'm at, I can take a good, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they want to cook me meals. They say it's on the house.
That's right.
And even crab legs be on the house. Like, I take it, boy, you give me some seafood on the house. I'm going to order the whole menu. Like, listen, they love me. That's how I know it's real. I'm like, dang, like the famous part, they love me. I get it. It's real. So now it's about using that and capitalizing and making it worth something. So that's what I do appreciate.
Being on the other side of the street, though, now, being able to be on major television series and stuff like that, is it everything that you expected it to be, or is it a lot more crazier?
No, it's crazy. It's definitely crazy. It's definitely, it's definitely a little different than I expected it to be. But then again, you can't expect nothing. The minute you put expectations on something, that's the first sign of disappointment. So I just really learned through expecting it a certain way, you can't expect nothing.
My God. So now going forward, where are you trying to take it from here, though?
Man, we got so many. Well, Reset is out now. Okay, I just dropped my EP.
Okay, now,
Okay.
now let's get into this EP.
Okay.
I mean, what was it like for you creating this whole project right here?
Oh, this project was amazing. It came from the soul. It was really, I talk about my motherhood.
Yeah.
I talk about the grind in general. I'm
That's
talking
right.
about just trying to get my point across. I'm talking about just being independently grinding. Because a lot of things I did on the independent side before I can even get the acknowledgement.
That's right.
So therefore, I talked about that. I talk about my father. I talk about my mom. I talk about my upbringing. I talk about some of everything. I talk about everything that's me.
Talk about your upbringing, though, for those young ladies that can kind of identify with your, upbringing and struggle yourself. What was that like coming up as a youngster and having these dreams in the back of your mind and to finally see that kind of stuff come to fruition from all the way back then?
Growing up, imagination was just more so drawing a picture. It could be something as simple as drawing a picture, coloring, being in your coloring book.
That's
It was
right.
just something as simple as drawing on your sneakers, whatever it was that can keep you creative, So
Exactly.
that's the creativity and imagination I always operate from. Like it's not an adult nor childlike imagination. It's
That's
just
right.
more so whatever keeps you creative, whatever makes you look at it like this. I feel like if I look at something like this, then it's worth my time. I want to do it.
Come on.
So coming, even just with writing, it was just like my little portrait that I was painting. So
Yeah.
it was always something that made me just step back from it, look at it like this, and see how far I came, how far I'm going. And for the little girls because I was a mother at 17 too.
Ooh.
So I feel like that kind of shaped me a little differently too. Because, being a mom at an early age where you
The
still a child.
responsibilities. I mean, it is
Yeah.
your childhood. It's a wrap on that.
That's it. That's it. You grown now. Look, you ain't 16 no more. That's
Exactly.
it. You grown. That's
Yeah.
it. How you got to make it work. So I dropped out of school.
Yeah.
And I left to a whole nother state. And then I went back to school. I ended up getting a job.
Yeah.
I was able to buy a cash car, but all that took time. It took a lot of saving up. It took a lot of putting yourself last. So I don't want people to think I just always put my dreams first. It was a point where I put myself last, and then it was a point where I got a little wiggle room
That's
to be
right.
able to wiggle myself back up there, but it took time.
Exactly.
And it was just something you just don't forget. So just keep that childlike imagination. Like
Yeah.
I think sometimes we get older and feel like we too old for it. Like, and it's like that imagination keeps us young. Like it keeps
Exactly.
us going. It keeps us creating. So make sure you just keep that imagination. Keep that childlike imagination.
Now, this new project, Reset, though, what was it like when you was putting this thing together and knowing that it was time for it to go down around this part?
Oh, it was exciting because
Yeah.
we had already had the launch of the show. So I was already open to the idea of really, this was my first body of music. I was already open to just putting something out there, but it needed to be authentic. I feel like your first EP, record, album, whatever it is always gonna be the most authentic.
That's right.
Because that's before all the changes come in. That's
Facts.
always before. I want to put a little piece of work out there that if I
Yeah.
ever have to go back and be like, B, who you are? Like, Bree, who was B? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
ain't, I could do it, right? Because y'all keep looking at me.
Say what you feel.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So boom, bam, bang.
Yeah.
So I always just wanted a body of work that I can always go back and be like, you know what, B, this is who you are. And I feel like this body of work was that body of work. So if I ever forget anywhere down the line, and I got to check myself and be like, all right, who was you? Let me press play and let me listen to that.
Exactly.
So that was my point of reset. I wanted to make sure I could always have a resetting point to go back to.
What are the bangers off of here that we need to be looking out for, though, B?
Oh, we got some
Talk
good
to me.
ones. We got Busted with Fun Girl Jai. That's my only feature.
That's my girl, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That
Ooh.
one wet is so wet, B. Ooh, it's so wet. I can't make it up. This stuff so good, I can't make it up. And right now we going crazy with You Gonna Do What and Reset itself. The
Yeah.
actual name of the album, Reset, that song is doing crazy. You Gonna Do What is doing crazy.
That's
Busted
right.
is doing crazy. Give No F's is doing crazy. Like, we got a lot of great records on here. And I advise that anybody who wants some real, authentic,
That's right.
genuine,
That's right.
raw,
That's right.
unapologetic riding through your car at 12 a.m.
Oh.
p.m. 1
Come on
a.m.
now.
It's going to be some good music. It's going to be
Exactly.
crazy. Reset is crazy.
I can dig it.
love it.
Lastly, is there anything else that you want to get off your chest? And how can these folks follow you?
They can follow me on Londynn. I got to spell it like that so y'all
Talk to me.
can get it right, okay? Londynn. You guys can follow me, Londynn B Official, Londynn B Official on all websites.
That's right.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. I'm everywhere under the same name. And I really just want to say, again, just let's keep it going. I think it's such a great time for females to tell their stories. I think it's such a great time for all of us to tell our stories and just come together because music is such a cultural thing. We got to do what we're supposed to do with it.
Exactly.
It's a mission. It's a purpose. So
I'm loving it. I already know where you about to take this thing, Londynn.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate you, B. I appreciate you for having
wish
me.
you nothing but the best and much success.
Thank you.
Beehive Radio Shout. It's Hot 107.9, man. Let's go.